What happened when the famous mystery crime writing novelist Agatha Christie mysteriously goes missing herself? What really happened when it seems as though one of her stories became her own real life? Agatha Mary Clarissa Miller was born on September 15, 1890, in Torquay, Devon, England. Agatha's father died from pneumonia at age 11, and she later said that this marked the end of childhood. However, things get much better because in October 1912, she meets Archie Christie at a dance, and they fall madly in love. Archie proposed 3 months after they met, and she happily accepted. And while on leave on Christmas Eve in 1914, Archie and Agatha get married. Things are looking very well for Agatha Christie in her personal life at this point. As far as her being an author, she started writing short stories at 18 years old, and then she moved forward and wrote a mystery detective novel, The Mystery Affair at Styles. This was the start and big break Christie needed, and she started her successful, illustrious career, dropping a string of bangers, having a run of very good books, and selling a ton of copies. Everything is going swell, but once again, life happens and punches Agatha right in the face. Her mother, who she was very, very close to, dies in April of 1926. This led Agatha Christie to a very serious bout of depression. While heavily grieving and mourning her mother, it is revealed that her husband, Archie Christie, is having an affair with a woman named Nancy Neal, 10 years younger than Agatha. To really add salt to the wound, Archie Christie did not want to be with Agatha. He didn't even want to work it out. He was the one who asked for the divorce. He wanted to go be with Nancy Neal. One night, Agatha puts her daughter to bed. She takes her car keys and leaves, never returning. The next morning, her car is found on the edge of a quarry with her license and clothes still inside of it. Everyone naturally goes crazy. This is a famous author we're talking about here. Over 1,000 police officers, 15,000 volunteers, and one of the first, if not the first, airplane searches were used. Agatha Christie's face was printed and plastered everywhere in England. After 11 days of searching, and with police tips leading them nowhere, a man recognized her dancing in a hotel ballroom in Yorkshire, 184 miles from her home. The police and Archie Christie were notified. When Archie arrived, he found that his wife had no idea who he was. She had checked into the hotel under the name Teresa Neal. Remember, her husband's affair partner name was Nancy Neal. This whole situation was very strange, very odd, and soon Archie made the situation very clear to reporters. She does not know who she is. She has suffered from the most complete loss of memory. Agatha had no recollection of the crash, of her life, of her daughter, of her mother, or anything that was going on and worrying her. Following those 11 days, Agatha returns home, but her and Archie do not live together. Agatha goes through an extensive time period of intense psychiatric therapy. Doctors are working hours and hours to help her restore her memory. It took time, but eventually, the normal Agatha Christie came back, and she divorced Archie in 1928. Now we have to talk about what really happened when Agatha Christie disappeared. There are many opinions that differ on the situation. A lot of people think that it was a publicity stunt to boost her own popularity, but to me, I don't think that's very likely, as she was already very popular and she was never the type to want to be out in the limelight anyway. Her most recent book that was out was selling just fine. She didn't need help selling copies. Another theory that a lot of people have is that she caused this whole situation to embarrass her husband. She knew that he wasn't going to be spending the weekend with her and their daughter, and he was going to be seeing his affair partner. So people think that she went out and caused this whole elaborate thing, went missing, to cause a stir and mess up his weekend. The last theory I'll talk about, an opinion that people have, me included, is that Agatha Christie had a complete mental breakdown. Due to all of the stress in her life and heartbreak, she fell into a dissociative state, and her brain could not remember and was trauma blocking a whole lot of things going on, including her own identity. What is very interesting is that Agatha does not mention her disappearance at all in her autobiography. She actually never spoke about this situation after it happened, except for one time when she was interviewed by the Daily Mail in 1928. She took this interview because of all the public scrutiny she was getting. The media was ripping her to shreds. They all thought that it was fake, made up, a publicity stunt, so she had to come out and say something. This was the one and only time she ever mentioned it. Agatha Christie explains that the days leading up to the disappearance, she was suffering from severe insomnia, only sleeping about 2 hours each night. Earlier in the day of her disappearance, she's seen a quarry and reveals, "There came into my mind the thought of driving into it. However, as my daughter was with me in the car, I dismissed the idea at once." She goes on to explain how she went back to the quarry that night, intending to drive off. She crashed before going over the edge and her head hit something. She then goes on to tell how she arrived in Yorkshire and in her mind, she was Mrs. Teresa Neal of South Africa. She explains as Teresa Neal, she was happy. She couldn't remember anything about who she was or what trouble she had as Mrs. Christie. Her life before the accident didn't exist. What is sad is that her worries and anxieties immediately returned as her memory started to regain through the psychiatric therapy I was talking about. In that 1928 interview, she also says, "Although now I am quite well and cheerful and have lost my morbid tendencies completely, I have not quite that utter happiness of Mrs. Neal." In this disassociative state, Agatha Christie, being Miss Teresa Neal, was completely happy, carefree of the world. Can things in your life get so bad and line up so perfectly or imperfectly that it could cause your brain to forget who you are without the need of substance? It seems like Agatha Christie is a real life case study, and her disappearance and return in 1926 is one of the wildest things that happened that year, that decade, really of all time.